Okay, all right. Completed our first scrimmage of fall camp. We went to stadium. Started out with some live field goal block. I thought it was good. Gave us some good information. Worked quite a few of our guys, specifically offensive line. Trying to get some depth to possibly take out some of our guys that will be starters. So I thought that was good. We had 3 live punt return. Good on good. Had some of our young guys that we really wanted to take a hard look at. We had some of our older guys too that we really need to step up and be special teams leaders. I thought it was very competitive. I thought it gave us some really good information as far as that goes. Our scrimmage part was right at 100 plays, which that was by design. Probably about 50-50 on the run-pass ratio. Rotated the 1s and the 2s and 3s. Defensively, really what stood out to me is our #1 defense had a very good day today, and really stood out to me is stopping the run and doing a good job with our run fits, which they've worked extremely hard on that. Offensively, our 2 older guys, we held them out. We really wanted to see the young guys with the 1s and the 2s and see who that #3 guy is. Cam Martin, Malik Miller, C.J. Tolbert got the bulk of the reps with the 1s and the 2s. Devin Barrett got some work along with Whitlow, but I thought it was really good, to see what they could do and really who could step up, because it's been kind of a really close race, and just got to start figuring out who's going to get the reps as far as that goes. Our quarterbacks, Jarrett and Sean rotated with the 1s and 2s. Malik was with the 3s and then came back with the 2s some, and I thought all 3 at times did a solid job. But the good thing from my standpoint, it was hot, it was humid. It gave us really a good opportunity to see where we are from a mental toughness standpoint, having to push through, see how our body language was as far as that goes. From a penalty standpoint, anytime you rotate 3 groups, you're going to have some, and that's really what stood out to me. And I just challenged our guys really on both sides of football. We got to be better the next time we scrimmage. But overall, gave us some great information from a coach's standpoint. And really lastly, before I open up for questions, we did punt in the middle of the scrimmage, but just like we did in A-Day, we got the snapper, got the punter, and just had the returner back there. But we probably got 4 to 5 reps apiece from those 3 guys that are competing. I told them before we started that this day is going to be a lot more important than the daily information we got before. So we need to make a decision pretty quick in the punting area, and hopefully we can do that this week, or at least after the second scrimmage. Questions?
Were TD and Andrew able to take part?
What's that?
Were TD Mulch?
They did not take part, but it won't be long for either one of them.
Do you anticipate KJ and Kerry and Cameron Petway to not be tackled before?
We hadn't decided that yet. There's a possibility that'll happen. We just felt real strong right now that we got good information on those 2 guys. They're both healthy right now, and then the fact, those 3 other guys are very good running backs in their own right, and just an opportunity to run behind the first offensive line, and see what they can do, truly evaluate them. So I thought that was good, but we'll see moving forward if those guys, if we decide the second scrimmage or even the third scrimmage to get them tackled. We haven't decided that yet.
Gus, how important are you talking about rotating the offensive line to get that on film in a scrimmage and then be able to kind of, how important is that in an evaluation process?
I think it's real important. I mean, and there was a lot of rotation today, and it's good for Coach Ann and Coach Lindsey to see how those guys reacted. But like I've been saying for a while, I mean, there comes a time that you got to start putting the piece of the puzzle and start putting a guy in a specific position, and we're getting closer to that. I know this scrimmage will help those guys with that, but there was a lot of mixing and matching, and gave a lot of guys opportunities. The 2 fifth-year seniors, they got a lot of reps today. Our young guys got a lot of reps today, so it was good from that standpoint.
Gus, you've had a week now in the new way, with an off day and one practice a day. How different has it been? How do you feel like you guys have dealt with it?
Really, when you have one practice a day, you have a walkthrough, and there's a lot of meetings that go with it. So I mean, it's a full day, and you feel like you can get a lot accomplished. As far as the off day, I think it's a positive thing. I know from a coach's standpoint, it gives you a chance to slow down, kind of look at it big picture wise, from a valuation standpoint, and your practice is moving forward, and then gives you a little extra time to start, thinking about that first game too. So that's kind of how we've been using the off day, but everything else, it really seems very similar.
Beyond splitting time, Gus, did Jared or Sean, either of them do anything to stand out today, anything specific to them?
At times they both made plays. I mean, when you're looking at everything, without watching the film, it's hard for me to say, but I think both of them did some good things at times. So, and there's nothing like a scrimmage, okay? There's going to be all kinds of teaching things, down in distance, moving the football, pace, everything that goes with it, communication, situations. So I know it's going to be really good for both those guys, including Malik and Chip, to all sit down and just get to thinking like he's thinking. So that's the positive standpoint when you're able to move the ball, in a scrimmage and think quick and react. But I'll say this, all three of them did some good things, but all three of them, have numerous things to work on. That's probably the best way to answer it without evaluating the film.
Talk about the receivers, any of them stand out, starting to step up?
It's starting to come a little clear, I'd say. I know Coach Burns is looking for 2 deep at each position. Really, he's been stressing the mental toughness and the physical toughness aspect, and we've had guys respond. And we're getting closer. I mean, I like where that group's at. I like where Cody has them. And scrimmage today was good. Some guys got some opportunity to show what they could do in one-on-one situations with the ball in their hand, one-on-one situations, going up for a 50-50 ball. You take all those things in, when you're evaluating. But overall, I think they're getting better.
It sounded like
Can you
Sal.
talk about the number 3 running back spot, the competition there, and does Devin Barrett have any chance?
He could. There's no doubt. He got a lot of reps today too. I think he got close to 10 carries, and they threw him the ball a couple times too. So he's got a skill set, and those other guys too. I thought all 3 of those guys, we got some good information from them. And like I said, there's nothing better than evaluating a guy behind the first offensive line, and that way you can truly get a good idea of where they're at.
It sounded like Sal was doing some good things early on. Has that translated over to this kind of full pad stuff like today?
Yeah, Sal's a tough guy. I mean, that's what stood out to me. He's a tough guy, and he has an attitude and brings an edge. And that's really what stood out to me so far about him.
Do you plan on keeping Austin Golson at center? Are you working him any at left guard?
I think he's played some guard, and I think he's played some tackle. But I mean, right now he's our starting center. He's probably one of the best centers in college football. So, but he's got the flexibility to. Him and Braden are kind of the 2 guys that are kind of leaders up front.
With all the the screens and different things that Chip's bringing to this offense, how was the timing today between the top 2 quarterbacks and the receivers under pressure and everything?
I mean, I thought they did some good things. Like I said, our defense is pretty good too. So, they're still learning, and until you can really get a first-team quarterback and first-team receivers, that's when you really start seeing, a high percentage of executed plays and all that. But right now, as far as rotating everybody, there's some good things.
Gus, you said you held out Cameron, Carry on any other older guys that
No, everybody else scrimmage.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody else, we got them good reps, and like I said, it was almost a third of those plays. So a lot of the ones got 30 to 40 plays, which I thought was good. And then we got another scrimmage coming up, I guess Saturday.
Yes, the guys you got on defense, you were good last year, better than most people expected. When you see it, do you look over there and see it's better than last year?
They're as a big picture. They know Coach Steele's expectations in the defense. They know their assignments and fits better at this time than they did last year. But until you actually play another opponent, it's kind of hard to tell too much. But I will tell you that they know their assignment, and they are competent. So we'll see how that translates compared to last year, because I thought last year's defense was outstanding.
Gus, on Kyle Davis specifically, we just haven't asked you since he's returned to fall campus. What have you seen now from him a week in and a scrimmage?
Yeah, he's starting to get back in shape. He's a very confident player. He's a big physical guy, and I think without going through spring, I like where he's at. I mean, he's got to continue to improve, but you know, he's pretty good at the 50-50 balls that are thrown up.
Were there any injuries in the scrimmage?
We got some guys banged up, but nothing that won't be a day or two or 3 or something like that. But it was a physical scrimmage. Of course, we wanted it to be. And you know, fall camp too is really about pushing through the little nicks and knacks and everything that goes with that. And but nothing that.
Was Marlon able to go today?
What's that?
Marlon Davidson?
Marlon did not go. No.
Is he expected to return this week?
Yeah, it'll be shortly, a couple of days probably.
Without him, this obviously a big chance for Nick Coe. What'd you say out of him?
Yeah, you know, Nick, you know, he got thrown in the fire today. I thought it was really good to see what he can do. I mean, everybody's talked about, you know, his physical tools, but he's got to go out and do it. And so today was a big day for him. Paul James too. You know, I got a chance to get in the mix and do some things too. So you know, I thought it was a really good day to gather information. Like I told our players, from a coach's standpoint, we probably learned as much or more today than we did all the practices before.
How was your pass rush today, particularly Jeff Allen?
I would say overall it's pretty good. I'd say overall it's pretty good. I mean, you know, it's kind of more of a group. You know, I think they're doing a solid job after this week practice.
Yes, the #1 defense in the first scrimmage of fall camp has done well pretty much every year. A couple of years ago, you said they whipped the offense 2 years ago. So just, do you think there's something to just by nature that the first scrimmage kind of favors the defense or something?
Well, if you got a chance to be good on defense, it usually does. You know, and you know, it was a pretty basic scrimmage now. I mean, the defense didn't do a whole lot of exotic stuff, and the offense didn't either, and that was by design. You know, so I was excited from a defensive standpoint how well they stopped the run, and like I was saying, like, man, on run fits, I'm excited about how the defense works together. They know their assignment, and just the run fits really stood out to me in a pretty good way today.
Gus, can you talk about the walk-on punter, Aiden Marshall?
Mm-hmm.
Is he giving in?
He's in the mix. I mean, we're still learning, putting him in the mix, and he's competing, and at times he's looked good. At times, you know, he's got some things he needs to improve on, but he's in the mix.
So Daniel Carlson's still
in the mix. Yeah, oh yeah. He's still a possibility. Ian's a possibility. Like I said, hopefully by the end of this next scrimmage, we'll have a guy start getting him ready, and you know, as far as that goes.
As you continue to evaluate quarterback, Gus, Nick won the job without spring. It took 18 practices and 3 scrimmages. Jarrett was here in the spring. He's up to 21 practices and 4 scrimmages. What more questions do you need answered from Jarrett at this point?
Well, I mean, he's in a competition, like we talked about, and a lot of it probably has to do with Sean White. He wasn't able to go through spring, and he got a new offensive coordinator, so it's probably more the other way than it is about having enough information about Jarrett. So, you know, the scrimmage was big. You know, next Saturday's scrimmage will be big, and then we'll see where we're at.
If
Daniel
hindsight
were
being what, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if Daniel were to be the punter, would you like somebody else to kick off? Or
Possibly.
Would Anderson most likely?
It's possible. We kind of thought about all the above, of what ifs, at least I have, so, but I'm not ready to say yes.
With hindsight being what it is, when did you kind of come to this plan of what you're doing with KJ and Cameron Petway? Did you feel like they took too many hits and that led to their injuries?
No, not at all. That was it was Coach Lindsey and Coach Horton that thought that was best to properly try to evaluate those other guys and know everything, and then move forward with a plan. And the fact that, you know, they're both healthy now. You know, they got a good year under their belt of kind of knowing what they can do and all that, what they need to improve on. And then, you know, when you do your practice tempo, you know, you got a lot of information there too. So it wasn't anything about anything negative. It was just more about those 3 guys.
Anything else?